You see the debate every day, high volume versus low volume training. The science-based community points to absurd volume recommendations that would honestly have you living in the gym doing 20 plus sets per muscle group. Now you have anecdotal evidence from actual lifters suggesting a much more moderate approach works better in the real world. Then you have the hardcore HIIT guys who will defend low volume training as the only way to actually train. But here's the deal. If you're looking for the best way to build muscle, this mental masturbation of endlessly researching and debating, it's taking you further and further away from actually progressing, from actually doing the work that needs to be done. So let me give you the real answer about training volume. Listen closely. Your training volume needs are simply what volume you can do to make progress as consistently as possible. That's it. Those two things. Progress and consistency. They will answer everything you need to know about volume and frequency. Here's the actual framework that I use with clients to determine what works best for them. Your goal every week, over months, and every month over years is to see some type of incremental progress in the gym. That could be adding reps, adding weight, doing the same weight with better range of motion, or more controlled technique. If this is occurring consistently, your volume and frequency are sufficient. Now, where people screw this up, if you're doing more volume simply because you heard someone claim it's better, and that results in you being more beat up, more fatigued, to the point that it masks your training performance, then more volume is useless for you. Now, if lowering your volume because you heard HIIT is the only way to train to build muscle personally results in you being rusty or detrained when you hit your next session, then obviously you didn't need to drop your volume. And the reality that I've seen coaching for decades is yes, there are some people who just have outlier recovery ability. They can stay motivated, they can train with more frequent training sessions, more volume, and they're able to make consistent progress on these higher volume recommendations. Now, there's also the more average responders, and this is most people, who do better with less volume, more intense sessions, where they can really push hard and they can fully recover between each workout. But that doesn't make this a high volume versus low volume training is better or worse debate. It's the fact that most people do happen to fall into a general guideline. And within that guideline, there's really a sweet spot for each individual. So here's how you find your sweet spot for volume. Step 1 is start with a baseline. Pick something reasonable, maybe 6 to 12 sets per muscle group per week. Don't overthink it. Step 2, track the right metrics. Ask yourself, are you getting stronger week to week? Are you recovering between those sessions? Are you motivated to train or are you dreading it? Are you sleeping well? Is your performance consistent or is it all over the place? Now, step 3, adjust based on that feedback. If you're crushing it, you're recovering well, don't change anything. Now, if you're dragging ass and your performance is consistent, back off. The practical test that I like to give to clients is, can you maintain or improve your performance from week 1 to week 6 of a training block? If yes, that means your volume is dialed in. If you start off strong, but you fade by week 4 to 6, you're doing too much. Now, how do you actually implement this? And this is the part that everyone skips. Most people will watch this video, they'll just nod, and then they'll go right back to program hopping. Don't be that person. During weeks 1 and 2, you're just establishing a baseline. Again, pick a reasonable starting point, let's say 6 to 12 sets per muscle group per week. Personally, I'd like to have each person training each muscle group about twice per week. Don't overthink the split though. Whatever you actually will stick to will work here. If you want one to follow, my 4-day torso and limbs rebuilt program is perfect for this. But either way, track these metrics each single training session. You're going to track the weight used and the reps completed, obviously. Track how you felt going into the session. You can use a 1 to 10 energy scale, 1 being your worst, 10 being your best. I want you to track how you felt during the session. Could you maintain the intensity throughout the whole workout? I want you to track your sleep quality, especially the night after training, and your soreness levels within 24 to 48 hours post-workout. Now, after the first 4 weeks, you're going to have a reality check. At the end of those 4 weeks, ask yourself, am I stronger than I was in week 1? Even if that's just by 5 to 10 pounds or 1 to 2 reps. Am I recovering between sessions? Do I look forward to training or do I dread it? If you answered yes to all 3, you're dialed in. Just keep going. But how do you know when it's time to adjust volume up? You would do that if you're recovering easily, you're motivated and you're energetic, you're sleeping well, but you're not actually progressing. What about when it's time to adjust volume down? You would do that when performance is declining week to week, you're dragging ass in the gym, your sleep is suffering, and you find that you're getting sick more often. Now, here's the real secret. Most people, they actually need less volume than they think, but they need more consistency than they're giving. Personally, I'd rather see you do 6 sets per week for 52 weeks than to do 20 sets per week for 12 weeks before you burn out. And that's the problem with 99% of the science-based community's crazy training volume recommendations. Sure, you can study on what gets you the best results in the next 12 weeks, but 9 times out of 10, that plan is not something that's going to be sustainable long term. And knowing what works best in 12 weeks doesn't mean anything. It's like a guy running a marathon who sprints the first few miles. Sure, he made more progress on paper earlier in the race than the guy who's running it at a consistent pace the whole time, but that guy is going to crash and burn fast after that. And the guy who actually took the sustainable approach is going to blow by him by the time the race is actually finished. Bodybuilding is not a sprint, it is a marathon, and your training should be set up accordingly. So your action plan right now is this. 1, pick a simple program with moderate volume. Personally, I highly recommend Torso and Limbs Rebuilt for this, but use whatever feels right for you here. Second, I want you to commit to tracking for 4 weeks minimum. Third, I want you to adjust based on your response, not what some study says. 4, stop reading about training and actually start training. That's it. No more excuses, no more research paralysis. Your body will tell you what actually works if you actually listen to it instead of listening to what every fitness influencer says with an opinion. Stop overthinking it, start tracking. Remember, the best program is the one that you can stick to and make progress with for months and years on end, not the random sound bites you hear online. The bottom line here is volume is simply a tool. It's not a goal. You want to use enough of it to drive progress, but not so much of it that it buries you. Your body will tell you what works if you actually listen to it.